welcome to my Britwres journey on bbgwrestling.com. I'm Chris Lappin. I'm delighted to be joined on the line by the freshest, the flyest, the finest pro wrestler in the UK, Harrison Leon. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'd say I'm absolutely full of hay fever. So I'm all right.
Bless you.
Yeah, and if you hear any noise, my dog is in here as well for the listeners. Yeah, he's getting old.
Extra guest for the podcast today. I'm not enough.
He's usually fine. So,
bless him.
So how have you been today?
Yeah, good, man. I am getting ready for a move down to London. So moving house and stuff like that. So it's a bit stressful, and I'm one of them classic avoiders.
Yes.
Instead of doing everything that I need to do, I'm just going to leave it to the last minute and just stress out about it. So yeah, my bedroom, my temporary bedroom, which I've been staying in, is currently just packed up, and I'm living out of a suitcase again. So yes, I'm good other than that, really. But how about yourself?
I'm good, I'd say, apart from being full of hay fever. Yeah, I'm really good. So I'm pretty settled in this house. I don't think I'm ever going to move again.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, even my base for wrestling is pretty much up in Hertfordshire. So me moving down to London makes absolutely zero sense. But I feel like I'm 26, turned 27 this year, and I'm just like, I need to live the London life. I think just do that. Yeah. I think I went to a city for university. And I remember coming out of that being like, I'm never going to live in a town again.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, it's taken me 5 years to get back into a city. So, yeah, so it'll be exciting. It's a new chapter, which I'm excited for. So yeah, it'll be good. Yeah.
I've literally been to London and got off the train. We went to Harrods, Harrods the toy store. What's the toy store? The big one.
Hamleys the toy store.
We walked to Hamleys. And we walked back to the train station and went back on the trains where we were going in Reading. So that's my trip to London. That's all I've done.
To be honest, I have been one of them people for such a long time, for years. Like, I'm a massive walking hypocrite, to be honest, because I do this all the time. I always say something and I'll say I don't like it, we'll never do it, and then a little bit later there will be. But yeah, I was always like, it's too expensive, doesn't make sense. Like, my job's outside of London, so I don't know, so why would anyone do it? But now I got to a position where I was like, well, I could either live in Hertfordshire on my own or live in London in a house share. And I was like, I just feel like it's just a bit more exciting. I think I've been watching too many sitcoms and about people living with their friends in their 20s. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, when I was 22, I moved in with my two best mates. And we had a rotation of friends who lived on the couch. So, great 2 years of my life. So
I've done it at uni, obviously, and that was amazing. But then also at the same time, I'm very fussy, I'm very clean, very tidy. Well, I like to think so, at least. So I think it's going to be interesting living with, because I'm doing a spare room situation where I don't know who I'm living with. So these could be anyone, and I'll probably listen back to this podcast in a few years' time being like, oh, little did he know. So who knows what could be awaiting me. So yeah, it's exciting, but they're not my friends, so it could be could be anyone.
All right, so we're about a year back since Britwres started, returned after lockdown. So how's your return to the ring been?
Return to the ring, start of the ring. It's been wicked. So I suppose I started training. I suppose I properly started training about May 2022. I'd say, wow. as in consistently having training sessions, etc.
Yeah.
I'd had a few sessions in the weird little. Wait, did I say 2022?
I was going to say, you had a match on the 1st of May.
I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning, so you can just be like, since 2021, I've been training. I had 1 or 2 sessions maybe in. There's a really awkward stage between before we got locked down at Christmas in 2020. I had 1 or 2 sessions then, but I don't think I could really count it because I was just doing flip bumps and stuff. So my whole experience has been post COVID.
Oh, wow.
Like again, like I had my first singles match this year, and yeah, it's been amazing. I have had
Considering you've only been wrestling for, or training for a year, that match you had with Crowley was great. So just like
thank you. Yeah, I have to like count my blessings when it comes to like the opponents which I've had in like such a short space of time. My first experience in the ring was like as a character in front of a crowd was with in the Floor is Lava Rumble, which I can't remember if that's January or December time around then. I think it's around January. And I had a spot with CJ Carter in my first experience. I mean, I was playing a heel, which was again for such a long time. I think so many people when they get into wrestling, they're like, I want to be a heel, I want to be a bad guy, and that was me. I was like, I want to be a bad guy so badly. I want to boo at people. I want to be the prick that I can't be.
I find people who work in like with the public generally love being heels at the weekend because they have to be so nice.
I was a bartender for countless years, 5 years. But mate, I did heel stuff in real life. I would abuse my power like no tomorrow. People would be coming up to me, be like really drunk, be like, "You'll serve me," and I was like, "No, I won't." I would go like, "Security, get him out." So I was like, but yes, I think in a bar you can kind of get away with being a little bit ruder to people. And then I was like, I worked in store at Tesco for like years as well. But then I was quite lucky. I was a Saturday boy, so I used to have all the grannies come in and they used to be like, "Hello, Taylor," and I'm like, "Oh," they were like, "You're right," sort of thing. So it'd be lovely. But yeah, I wanted to be a heel at the start, and then I couldn't imagine doing it now that I've been. Well, I can, but I just love being. I love being a babyface.
Yeah, I've been training for 2 months now. For some reason, I started training when I was 40. So, but it was more that my son wanted to do it. I think it's just initially it was to go with him, do a bit of more fitness side of things. But yeah, I love it. So I've got.
I think as well. Like I don't know about you. I think even just for a training aspect, you get such a different appreciation for the art of it.
Yes, I've completely watched the different. Watching wrestling now is so different. So yeah.
Yeah, like you'll watch wrestling now and you'll be like, that must suck. And whereas beforehand, I think you'd go, oh, I don't know, even just like the smallest things you wouldn't even think about, and like pacing and timing, running the ropes, and all this sort of like crowd interaction. There's so much to it that I think is such an art that people don't appreciate. I think people in the industry really appreciate it, but just a casual fan doesn't even sometimes clock on sometimes.
The fitness level you need is insane.
How have you found it?
Well, I only started. I earlier this year I had a bit of mental health issues. I got signed off work. So during that, my brother started just for something to do. So dragged me to the gym, and yeah, it's the first time in my life I've enjoyed getting to the gym. So so I've gone from like 18 stone. I'm just under 16 stone now. And,
congratulations, that's good.
Yeah.
That's wicked. Are you feeling a lot better in yourself as well?
Oh yeah, amazing. So the first week I could barely do 10 minutes on the cross trainer. Now I can. Yeah, I've started the couch to 5K. And
Love that.
Weights. I've got whatever these are called. They're actually coming up.
Hey, come on, yeah. Love that.
I've got the singlet, if you can see it up there.
Oh no, I can't see it.
Oh.
I love that though. Traps though, you could do the little angle when once you're getting a bit pissed off, you go like I love that.
I bought boots, I bought knee pads, I bought a singlet. I've been looking at designs for face paint because I want to be a bit ambiguous about how old I am. Because everyone's going to see a 40-year-old and kind of like, oh, his first match, he's 40. But I'm going to,
I think you've got to like one thing, like, you've got to kind of get out of that sort of stuff out of your head. To be honest, like I think the beautiful thing about wrestling, especially Britwres as well, like in the industry, is that there's people from different ages. There's like 17-year-olds in my class, and then there's I wouldn't even actually know. I've never even asked, but there's some much older guys in my class as well. And I think it's just that like different people are doing it for different reasons, whether it's just
definitely.
for fun, whether it's for potential career, whether it's out of intrigue and interest. Like I think as long as you're there having fun, feeling good, I think that's the best.
Jeffro Roos, he didn't start till he was 42, I think when I interviewed him. So he had a cancer scare, and then he started training after that. Yeah.
It's one of the ones where you're just like, do you know what, life's too short. You want to just do it and get on with it. So I rate that.
He said he's got he did it to do one match, then got the book.
Yeah. Do you know what? Fair play. You've got to do it. Whatever your intentions are, I think people just going like, I just want to have one match, do it in front of a crowd, bucket list thing, tick, that's it, done. I respect it so much.
Yeah, it was originally. I'll just do it for fitness, just to support my son. Yeah, but he hasn't even started thinking of characters or attire or anything yet.
And then you're there on WWE 2K making your new character, being like, that's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I have changed my game on here. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a name. He's like, you should be VDT because you've been VDT on the wrestling game forever. I was like, but then people start asking what VDT means. It doesn't mean anything. It's just VDT.
It doesn't have to mean something. It's just like
just something the crowd can say. VDT.
VDT. Yeah. I wish I'd have kind of thought about something like that when it came to picking my name, but it's what it is.
Yeah. So I would recommend to the listeners to go watch your match with Crowley at Summer Sass on YouTube. So is that the biggest match of your career so far?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I found out I was getting booked against him. So like Crowley, I think Adonis said it in his episode. Like Crowley is one of the like completely underrated MVPs for definitely like this next. I was about to call this the next generation, like different. We're definitely the same generation, but like this like next wave, at least from UPW and the sort of like in the South and stuff like that. Like he's been so incredible with guidance and sharing, and like to be honest, like it's probably a cardinal sin to admit this, but like I was very much a WWE fan. That got me into wrestling. Did I have that much experience and knowledge of British wrestling? I can't say I did. I can't lie, and I would be lying if I said I did. So I've only really got into it and understood it now that I'm actually a part of it. But I bumped into Crowley during like the lockdowns and stuff like that, when we could like book to use the time, but obviously we could share sessions. And me and him were just like crossing over, and I was like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And he was like, "Oh, how have you find like where do you train?" I was like, "I'm literally a trainee." And we just had this conversation, which he mugs me off for so many times because, and it's quite interesting because I didn't know who Crowley was at the time, and the conversation which we were having, I basically said, and again, I've gone back on my word since. since then. I was just basically saying like the thing which I love about wrestling, and I have always loved about wrestling, is the characters that are formed in wrestling, and I've got a real big thing that I think you could be amazing in the ring, and you can do Canadian destroyers, you can out tech Daniel Bryan or whatever, but I think unless you've got that thing which makes someone intrigued, invested, and sold into you, I think unless you've got that and you're missing that character bit, you're kind of going to be floating into a space for a while. And like again, everyone loves wrestling for different reasons, and the character part of it is something which I love so much. And yeah, he's always sort of like used it back at me, being like, "I remember when you said wrestling's not important, you just want to be a character." I was like, I didn't mean that, but
if you're just a WWE fan, the biggest WWE wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, Austin once he got huge.
Yeah,
The Rock weren't great wrestlers, so they're all kick punch.
And as we'll get into when you ask about who my favorite wrestler is, if that question comes up, you will know that I don't care about match technicians. But I think at the time as well, like what sold me on to like at that time of that conversation, what sort of inspired it was like Sami Zayn's work during the Thunderdome, and he's doing his sort of paranoid character, and I'd watched his matches in NXT and stuff like that, but I think it was when he found that character, I just thought everything just clicked, and I was like, his character work is making me intrigued and invested in his storylines and stuff like that. That sometimes there'd be beforehand when he was on like the lower cards of Raw or SmackDown, I'd maybe sometimes go, okay, I'm not going to bother watching that. But that character has made me invested and has made me invested ever since, like the past 2 years since it. So I just feel like it just shows how important that actually having an idea of who you are as a character and knowing who you are as a character is so integral.
Definitely.
And important. But yeah, Crowley.
That's who you remember though. So some people still talk about people. They'll still bring up like people like Repo Man and stuff like that. They're weird gimmicks people remember.
Yeah,
but
it's just
they won't remember just Joe Bloggs and a pair of black trunks usually, just because even though he could be the greatest wrestler ever, it's just
exactly. But yeah, so like having Crowley for one of my, especially in my first year, especially just how much steam he's picking up over the past like couple of like ever since we've returned back from COVID, how his star has just astronomically just boomed.
That thing that you got cordially invited he did during lockdown. That was brilliant.
He's just incredible, and I think like I'm one of the people I will happily blow smoke up anyone's arse, and I will big up these people because they are exceptional talents. I'm not ashamed to like big these people up because they are incredible. Like the way he thinks about wrestling and the show and the performance you're putting on, he engages with the crowd and he gets them involved and he gets them actually paying attention. I think for a long time he was sort of saying like, because his wrestling is also caught on like in leaps and bounds and like in the past year as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think he got a lot of stick, I think, beforehand for being such a character, when actually that's the thing that sets him apart and makes him the most memorable part of every show.
He's probably the best heel in wrestling at the moment. It's his work on progress has been brilliant.
And I think I think there was a moment at Super Strong Style. I don't know if it actually got made on the edit, but I just saw it on social media when they were all doing like the sort of national anthem or something like that. He was sort of looking around the crowd, being like, "What's going on here?" I was like, just little things like that, and just what sets him apart. So I've only got great things to say about Crowley.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we'll go back to that question. So, who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
I get so much stick for this, and do you know what? I don't care. John Cena till I die, mate.
Yeah.
John Cena till I absolutely die.
So you're only 26, so you're only 6 when he came out. So
I was. So I've got
8 when he took off as Superstar Cena. So.
Yeah, I think I got into wrestling around 9, 10 years old. So it was very much like early. I think maybe Doctor Thugonomics had been. It's hard to understand like what I actually watched at the time and what I've watched retrospectively. But yeah, it's like Doctor Thugonomics, and then the start of like Hustle, Loyalty, Respect kind of scene. So I've kind of seen him throughout. Like he's just been such an integral part of my wrestling love. And yeah, he will forever be my number one, and I will have no bad words said about him whatsoever. He followed me on my personal account but he followed me when he only followed like 10,000 people. So this was a big deal. He follows like 500,000 people out, so it's not as big of a gloat. But I got the notification when I was at work, and I physically squealed. I was like, oh, because I can't explain how much John Cena's just been like such an integral part of my life. So when he followed me, I literally like squealed. I was like, oh, I was like, John Cena's following me, like hyperventilating. But yeah, he's my all time. And then to be honest, and again, I think I get stick for this as well. I just get a lot of stick from people who I train with, to be honest. Sasha Banks is up there with has surpassed so many others before her.
She's amazing. And she's in Star Wars, so I'm just like, I love you more.
Do you know how much I like Sasha Banks? Is that I started watching Star Wars so I could watch Mandalorian, which I didn't even. I can't lie, you're probably going to hate me for this, but I didn't even get around to. I think I got a few Star Wars in. And I was like, this is a bit much for me. So yeah, she's another one of the ones who. I've always loved women's wrestling. I think women's wrestling was one thing which actually got me invested and intrigued when I was younger. I don't know why. I think it was the Trish Stratus and Mickey James storyline. And I think once you get involved in that, that was one of the first storylines I really remember, like watching each week and being like, there's like so much more story to just them fighting in the ring. And then so I was quite involved and quite invested when there was all that, the women's revolution and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Sasha Banks has just been the one for me. The moment she took that Izzy's headband off at NXT Takeover, I was like, this.
I made people cry. It's just like,
I was like, she is just insane. I was just like, I rated her so much since then. So they're my two number ones in parallel, I'd say.
Definitely. So what prompted you to don the tights to get in the ring yourself? So
I think it was, I mean, to be honest, I have said for years, like, I'm just going to become a wrestler. I'm just going to do it. I just want to do it. Like, I think I've got tweets as well from like 2012 being like, I'm just going to drop out of university and just become a wrestler. Like so many tweets like that. I just, like, I've always loved it. And I've always like, it's always been such a huge integral part of my life. And then I wanted to start doing it. And I was like looking around for like schools around me and stuff like that. At the time I didn't drive, so it was quite hard to get to it. And then it was like, was it that affordable and stuff like that? And then, it just was like one of the ones where I was just like, COVID as well, showing when we got locked down and stuff like that. And that just really confirmed it. I'm like, no, I'm just going to just do what I want to do and not care about what other people thought. I think that thinking about what other people would think of me really put me off for such a long time. And then I was just like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. And it's by far the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I can't imagine my life not doing it now, which is such a weird thing to think. Like, I couldn't imagine not being one. But I love it.
Yeah. How do you find doing roles? I was like, I haven't done a role for 30 years. What do you mean do a front role? I was like,
mate, when they were like, okay, so
because you're 6'6", so it can't be that easy to do a forward roll anyway. So.
It's the diving ones as well, like doing diving rolls, and like in one of the trainings they were like, I'll do an Eddie roll from the top rope. So that's like you jump from the top rope or second rope and you go into a diving roll, and I was like, absolutely not. And when I'm having to do like rolls in between the ropes and stuff like that, I'm like, there's so much of me. It takes such a long time to get through the ropes, so my feet always get trapped. It's weird, but I mean, I get a lot of practice. Like my nephews and nieces, like my niece is like well into gymnastics. So whenever I'm around there, we've got like a summer barbecue. She's like, look at my handstand. I was like, I could do a handstand too. I can do this roll. And I was like, look, can you do this shoulder roll? I was like, there. She's like 5 years old, being like, oh, I hate this guy. But yeah.
So was John Cena who you like wanted to mold your style around when you started training, or do you?
Yeah, again, I'm a 5 moves of doom guy.
Yeah.
Know what I could do, perfect that. I've not got it perfected even yet, but so my style, I think, like character wise, I mean, actual like moveset wise, I think it's very much like around, I suppose, just really I try to do is like little, but do the little things, but make more of them. Yeah. To be honest, like when I first got into it, I was like so wanting to avoid any big man moves. Like, I would just be like, they were like, oh, you should do a choke slam. You should do this. You should do that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like typecast to like a Kane stereotype just because I'm 6'6". But then, and I think quite a lot of people have it when you're a bigger guy in wrestling, and also it works the other way when you're a smaller guy. You always want to do the things you can't really do. Like, I wanted to be like some sort of lucha libre doing like flips and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, no, I need to play to my strengths, the fact that I'm 6'6", which in British wrestling is a lot taller than quite a lot of the other guys that are doing it. So I need to do that sort of stuff. I need to do stuff like that. And when in my first, so it was CJ who was like, oh, you should do a choke slam. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then we did it in the match, and he took this choke slam like I just thrown him through the middle of the earth. Like, it was insane. And the fighters looked wicked, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, like he looks like a beast. So like I've kept that in. and I've kept like all the bigger man moves in. But I think one thing I'm trying to do as well is because I am quite, I don't know if agile is the right word, and I can't say I'm athletic because I wouldn't say I'm athletic whatsoever. I was bottom set PE. I was bottom set PE throughout all of secondary school, so I wouldn't say I'm athletic, but I can move. Like, well, I found doing some of the lucha stuff a little bit. Again, not lucha. It's like a lucha arm drag. It's hardly like a Rey Mysterio. But I like doing stuff like that. Like, so I'm trying to like. I just find to think if someone my size could do stuff like that, it just gives a bit of a USP, like a unique selling point compared to
definitely
some other people. But yeah, that's where I kind of got my I suppose seen as where I got my style.
Yeah, we've just done suplexes and body slams. We're doing them on mats for a couple of weeks. I was like, oh, and then they bought a ring. My friend's doing it in the ring. It's not as hard as doing it on mats. So I was like, yes, it's like
whilst you're standing on a mat and trying to do stuff, you're trying to get your footing and then do it and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, doing it in a match scenario. So like, I do a stalling suplex is like one of my John Cena moves of doom, and trying to do that in real time is just something like when you actually have to land it. And I think that's one thing which training never prepares you for, is once you actually have a match and you're doing that for like 12 minutes and you're actually taking all these bumps onto the canvas, into the ropes, into the turnbuckles. You're like, I remember I got out of my first session, after my first match, I was like, yeah, that's blessed, cool. Next day, I felt like I'd been hit by a car. I literally was like, help me.
After my first training session, I was like, I couldn't walk for like 4 days. I couldn't bend my knees, so I was walking.
We'll tell you a horror story that we've had. A lot of the UBW guys will appreciate is that we had so Tajiri came to the latest UBW show the weekend just gone, and we had like a training seminar with him beforehand, and he was like, oh, so usually in Japan we do 500 squats as a warm up. And he was like, but it's fine. You guys are going to be doing 200. And I was like going, oh, my guy's got a language barrier. So I'm sure he means 20.
It's 20.
It's like, no, we're doing 200 squats as like the warm up. And then we started doing I think we did like including variants of squats and leg kicks. We did like something like 400 or so, like 350, 400, and none of us, like, honestly, the group chats and the posts and the group stuff, it's like, my knees, my legs, I can't walk. And like, honestly, it was horrible. I think my legs have just about recovered. Yeah, so
I can still feel my legs from our session with Sean only at the weekend. So it's like,
as long as you've got knee pads, it's fine.
Yeah.
Training, so
yeah, and whoever invented a burpee is evil. And yeah,
I do like a burpee. To be fair, I have to admit, I've got into them.
No. maybe I'll start enjoying them one day, but no, I don't like it.
Embrace it. Don't see it as your enemy. Embrace it, and you'll start liking it. It does it's so good for you.
Yeah.
It's a mindset thing, mate. Mindset.
Yeah, I just don't think I'm at that fitness level, yes, but I will do. So
you will.
What I was 2 months ago. Yeah.
Positive mental attitude. Keep pushing. Keep driving.
Yes.
John Cena says, "Never give up."
Yeah. Did you have an idea of a character you wanted to be when you started training? What's version 1 of Harrison like compared to now Harrison?
That's a funny story. So Hugo Bloom's like one of the main trainers down at UBW, and he was like, "Oh, you need to start thinking of character." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, no worries, sweet, happy days." And I sent in this like PowerPoint presentation. Like, so I come from a creative background anyway.
Yeah.
Did like design at uni, and I work in marketing now. So I tried to think of everything like, if this is my character, who is it in 3 lines? What's the aspiration? What's the visuals? So I created all these characters up. One of them was like, I wanted to do like some sort of like scary, silent type with like face paint and all that sort of stuff, which is just not me whatsoever.
No.
I think they said like, do the advice I think everyone gets is you either yourself times 10 or the complete opposite of who you are as a person. So I've obviously just done myself times 10. And yeah, so the original ideas there was, and again, because I'm only like a year, not even a year into training. Well, a year into training, not even a year in matches. I keep thinking of different things which I want to do to expand Harrison Leon and who it is. And I think each match that comes, I'm finding myself like stepping up a little bit more, and I understanding how he would hold himself in that sort of space, which I think, and again, working with someone like Crowley was an incredible experience, because we had that match and we had so many moments where we were able to get character out, and it wasn't just like the crowd was able to understand who I was. So I think there was a lot of iterations when it came to there was just like so my character, the idea of actual Harrison Leon is like a baller by any means. So it's not just a baller like a basketballer, which is playing on all stereotypes that I'm 6'6", that I can play basketball. It's supposed to be like I do like an iteration of like throwing the money, and then sort of like a basketball thing as my sort of taunt, my move. I don't know what it's a taunt, not a taunt.
Like balling, like MVP. Also.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sort of like money, and then like the just as my sort of my taunt recognised. Yeah, exactly. So I tried to combine the money thing and the baller thing. So it's like the idea is that with Harrison Leon, it's a baller. So your head's always in the game. You're always going big. You're always like going for broke. I just want that sort of big, precocious character, because I think it's something which can. I like the idea of having a character that can flex between being a heel and a face if it needs to be. Like my character is very John Cena-esque in the sense of like the crowd, my fans, which I've got, are like kids rather than like, I don't think that I can't imagine there'd be like overrated like adults watching me being, oh, this guy's cool. I think they'd go like, he wants to be John Cena. But yeah, so I tried to, the way that I kind of see my character is like a mix between people like John Cena, the sort of, there's edge to it, not edge, but like there's a slight edge to the character in the sense of like Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, the Street Profits, MVP, that kind of like big swagger, but it's not I like to think I'm not cringy, not cringy. It's kind of like just like as part of who it is, and that's where I kind of envisage for me. I like trying to create a space around that sort of area, because then if I need to flex into being a heel, then I can do it, and I could be braggy and something like that. But if I need to, I could just be really big and positive if I need to be a face. So yeah, that's where I kind of see it going, and where I've kind of got to at the moment. But yeah, who knows, like, could have a complete shift, but I feel like this feels right for me at this moment in time.
Definitely. I've been trying to watch because I'm only 5'7", so I'm short and stocky, so I've been watching a lot of like ECW Taz and ECW Rhino, just the shorter, stockier guys. It's just try and get
a space nailed.
Yeah, because I'm not tall enough to be thought of as a powerhouse. I thought I would be like a scrappy guy,
bulldozer. Bulldozer.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, so I was just thinking of some guys. And I was like, he's cool. So.
Yeah, love that. I think I've been looking at quite a lot of like Scott Hall and like Razor Ramon. Quite a lot of like Dust. Yeah, I mean, again, this is something like so Paul Ash is my trainer down at UBW as well. Like he mugs me off so much because I was like, I've only really watched Ruthless Aggression era plus, like up to my era. And there was a bit of Attitude era that I went back into, but all that sort of like the golden years I have sort of dipped into in and out, but wasn't really that engaged with. And he was like, I think you need to look at people like Razor Ramon, Dustin Rhodes and stuff like that. So I've been trying to.
So they're all big guys, but you don't think of them as big guy wrestlers. He's 6'7", Razor Ramon. You don't think of him as a big guy, even though like his version of the choke. There's a choke slam, but it kind of looks like a rock bottom at the same time.
Yeah. It's sick
if you did that.
So there's just like I'm trying to find the big guys that move and are agile, because again, I'm not like I'm 6'6", but I'm not some sort of like brick house. Like I am quite slim and athletic build, I suppose. So I can move around quite quickly for my size. So I need to do things which are showing that off. And they're perfect people for me to sort of study and look at. So I'll be looking very much to trying to find things that they do and how I can then bring it back into my character. Plus, also then having the influence of people like Banks and Cena and the Street Profits and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a weird amalgamation, but I'm hoping it will create something good.
Yeah, like when I create somebody on the 2K games, I create them and I just randomly assign moves to people. Just like, there's all the like the ground moves, I'll go random, and then just see what comes out.
They'll do a drop. They'll do a drop kick from the top rope, but they'll also do a choke slam and then also a hurricane right now. Yeah, it's fine.
Let's see what comes out with you. I don't know, like a hillbilly type character, and I must have gave him Dana Brooks taunts because he kept going around. I was like, that's wrong.
Don't know how this really works as a character, but we'll see if it gets over. It's fine.
All right, so take us back to your first match. So your first show. So you've got your first one-on-one match. You've talked about the Flores Lava match, which is one of mine and my son's favourite. We love all the Flores Lava matches. We've watched them so many times. So. It's
class. It's so good. I'm excited. I'm excited to, if they have one in. Well, I'm assuming they'll have Flores Lava 5. I'm excited to be in it and then like have my character and know who that is, and people will be excited. Well, I mean, I hope people will be excited.
I haven't watched it the day before actually for the interview, or the day after I watched it, because I was like, it's him.
Hey, that's him. But yeah, I was being a heel and it just didn't feel. I wanted to be a heel for like going into it, as I said, like I really want to be a heel, and then after I've been a face, so I got tired of being a face, and my first match was against Truman Roswell.
Your first match was against Truman Roswell.
Yeah, man. Like this is what I mean. I've had CJ Carter, Truman Roswell, Crowley. I've done tag stuff with like the Heavyweight Heartbreakers. Like, wow. Just for the caliber for the first few months is like I don't know, just some of the best people that I could have like asked for. But yeah, my match with Truman again, insane because he's such a hated heel at UBW, but again, just so good.
Yeah, and I interviewed him when he was still Paddy, and he was just getting this idea of a conspiracy theory character in his head, because I think it was just before lockdown. I can't remember.
Yeah, because he's came back as from COVID as Truman Roswell.
Yeah.
Just insane. Like what an insane talent to work with, and he was so good in like holding my hand throughout the whole thing, and just but the cardio thing, which you were saying, and I was like, because I would like to think I'm quite fit. I run half marathons. I can usually keep up. In the drill, whatever. But a match is a joke. He said to me beforehand, if you're blown at any point, just let me know, and it's cool. We'll slow down. I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries. Yeah, it won't bother. It won't happen. But then in the match, I was like, oh, but I couldn't breathe to tell him I was blown. I was on the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to slow the pace down. So I was like, but yeah, he was insane. And it was such a good person to go against. The crowd were really into it. I got to do a few nice things in there again, but it feels like night and day when you look at my match. So that match wasn't actually recorded, which I'm gutted about. But if you look from my memory and what I can remember and how I feel, even it's like night and day from the Truman fight to the Crowley fight. But yeah, what a sick first opponent to have in a singles match. Like now, because I think he then went on to win the UBW championship, and he's obviously just won the sacrifice title as well. And yeah, just one of the most talented people.
Wow.
That I know. And breaking kayfabe, just one of the loveliest guys as well.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's quality. So I'm so super blessed with the people that I've been able to face.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have like a wish list for the rest, or maybe for the rest of this year? I've got 6 months.
That I do. I think it's really hard. It's really hard to like do a wish list for this year. I think there's a lot of people like backstage. Like I've been very lucky that I've made some really, really good friends and a lot of really good peers around me. And people that I just want to. I think it kind of goes in levels. There's people in my class, in like my training class, that I'd want wrestle and like have the match in. But obviously we need to wait till we're a bit more established and we kind of know what we're doing. I think from like an established level, Paul Hubris, I've trained with him a little bit.
Just gone to America, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, just got off to Rhodes Wrestling Academy. He's class, and he's like, we had a training session with him, and he just has so many. Because I mean, he's like he's been doing it for like 10 years or something like that. I think he's only like 23, 24, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's got so much knowledge, and just like he's like, okay, well, he was like, you two wrestle, and I'll pick it apart. And he's like, what do you think you've done there? And he's just got such a great knowledge. So I'd love to go in the ring with him. To be honest, I want to go in the ring with anyone who I think has got really good knowledge, because I just think they're going to teach me different things. Tommy Kyle is someone who I again, I know Adonis sang his praises, and it's so well deserved. He's my main coach at UBW, and I've pretty much learnt most things from him. And if you need to learn anything, he will probably know how to do it.
He came back from lockdown a beast. He wasn't skinny pre-lockdown, but he came back. Big hairy chest.
Yeah,
so he's got a ring as well.
Yeah, he's sick. And also he's someone who I really want to tag with, because again, I've just got like the Flight Club in my head, like, because obviously I'm Flyest. He is the Maverick. Just from a branding opportunity, I just think it's cool. And I don't know, I think I'd love to work with him in any capacity, because again, he's someone who's my coach, but I see him as a well-respected peer, but then also as a friend as well. So it's quite nice that he'd be able to, like, after every match he comes back and he's like, okay, this was really good. This is what we could have done better. He's just so thoughtful and knows what he's talking about. And so yeah, he's definitely on the list. I'd love to work Hustle Malone as well.
Yes. He's champion at my local promotion, West Island. Just won the championship. So.
Yeah, he's again, and that's from another perspective, very similar to like the Crowley situation. Like, he's got his character now with the protagonist so on lock, and he knows what he's doing, and he could get the crowd like really like against him. His promos are insane. I like him and Crowley. I was really gutted Crowley didn't do a promo on me, because I was just like, I just want to get like, I'd love them to feel. It's like wanting a diss track against you, like being a rapper, a diss track against you. But I really want it, because yeah, they're just sick. So yeah, I think they would be the ones which I'd like, and also Adonis Payne. Again, it's probably the main reason I'm on this pod. Like, he put my name into the space, but he's like one of my best mates that I've made in wrestling. He's just wicked. He's got so much potential. And again, he knows his character. He does his heel stuff so well. I'm quite lucky by being a babyface. It feels like there's, at least in UBW, in that sort of circle, there's not a huge amount of baby faces compared to heels. So there's the talent of heels which we can face is insane. So they would be the ones who I think, in an attainable level of like, it could happen, I think would be my ones for the rest of the year. I think
they want to just do a big man. They could have you versus memes as well.
Again, and that's another person I'd love to face. Memes in the sense of like his character stuff. And I've not really faced anyone my size. So I couldn't quite figure out how it would work as a bit of a heel. But he's great as a heel. It's just like that obnoxious, self-obsessed heel character. Yeah, he does it so well. He's just got such a bravado and a precocious energy when he's that heel that works really well.
It's like the face of the promotion. It was like the #1 baby face. The name just show after him. The main show's named after him. WrestleMania. I was like,
I was there for the heel turn, and I was just like, and again, because I was honest, like I wasn't hugely into the Britwres beforehand. I've only really known him post COVID. I've only really known him as a heel. Didn't see the rise of memes as a babyface. So for me, he feels such like a natural heel because that's all I've kind of known, which I think must be credit to his ability to be able to do both. If he's managed to build himself as a babyface, and then be so naturally into a heel role. So yeah, that would be good. Actually, to be fair, that'd be a fun match to have. Yeah.
So if you're a promoter for a day and promoting an event, so using wrestlers you worked with, trained with, wrestlers are associated to you in some way. If I give you a match type, you tell me who you put in that match. So,
Go for it. Yeah.
yes,
Happy
so,
days.
cool. And as it's your show, you can make every match intergender, every match 3-way, 4-way, 5-way. Throw a stupid stipulation on things if you want. So it's up
Love
to
that.
cool.
I have very much got like, yeah. I feel like I've got a good card. I backed my card.
Okay, so who'll be in your opening contest? The crowd excited.
So I feel like I've been very tactical with this. So I put CJ Carter versus Warren Banks as my
as your opener. Wow.
as my opener. You got to start if you've played WWE 2K. You've got to start the card off hot.
You have to start hot, and you can have you have to have a rubbish match in the middle, and no sponsorship stuff around it.
I've started off really hot with CJ versus Warren.
Yeah.
In the sense of so Warren, I've actually not trained with or had a match with. I've literally just shared a locker room with. So. But being so junior into my career, I feel like I've actually not got enough people to fill out a card.
It's associated to you in some way.
Yeah, so I think he's wicked. It's so good to see the rise that Warren's been on.
Because I've watched him coming from at Wrestle Island, his debut. He got brought in just because somebody else was ill or something, so he got a chance. And then he was there. He just lost the championship.
Yeah.
So he broke his arm or something. I can't remember. He broke his leg. He's got an injury.
Yeah. He's just wicked, and he's a really nice guy. Who when I've met him, and then CJ obviously was the person who I first time I sort of encounter with. I like I think the dynamics between them two, and CJ's really over at UBW as a face. Mm-hmm. I think the dynamic between them two, like it's a bigger guy like Warren versus someone like CJ, could just tell quite a nice story.
That'll be great.
They'd have a bit of a banger, and enough to keep people engaged and interested and sort of like hot off the bat. I think so. I think that'd be a good opener.
That'd be great. That'd be a great opener, or a great main event. That'd be a great.
Story behind my main event though, so I've got narrative.
Comedy style match. So.
Yeah, comedy. Right. So I went with a triple threat match with this. And again, it's trying to mix between characters that I think would just be great in a sort of like triple threat scenario. So I've done Hustle Malone, and I don't think so. The thing is, like with a comedy match, it doesn't denounce their talent or anything like that. But I just think like the way the character can just perform and excel. Like I think
Hustle wasn't a Disney death match the last show I watched. So
yeah,
you could use any weapon as long as it was Disney.
Yeah, and that promo, I'm sorry, that promo that he did with the Moana thing is him and Crowdy dropped this like a killer promo because I think Crowdy had one against Max the Impaler. Two of the best promos I've seen, and both on the same day. And then I dropped one on Crowdy like a day after. I was like, please don't. It's so embarrassing. But yeah, him versus Ricky Calvé, who's again gaining a bit of steam at UBW, and then also again on Sacrifice now as part of Los Palominos, because I just love his character, man. I think and I just think it's so great. Like, I love the little paper bag thing that he's doing. It's just I love it. And then against Darcy Stone as well. So she is wicked, so much energy, so much fun. She's just like a little fireball. I just think them three in a little match, like the hijinks that would happen, because Darcy, I think I've seen her play face, do like face and heel. She could just teeter on that line perfectly fine. And so can Ricky Calvé. He could do a lot of comedic stuff, which is quite endearing, but actually he's a prick at the end of the day. Like, I just think that them three as a little match would just just trying to bouncing around. I just love it. I think it'd be wicked.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds fun. Your women's title match.
For this one, I've been very annoying and done a six-way. Because I just think all the people in this card are just so incredibly talented.
I've had people in the past do a battle royal somewhere because they just wanted to put all the mates on the show, and also. When
I do this, I was like, I want to put all the people which I love on the card as well. So the women's title, we'll do like a 6-pack challenge, very similar to how the SmackDown women's title got put on and all that sort of stuff. So I put Evie Madden firstly, just because She's just one of the best people in wrestling. Like, just one absolute babe. So lovely. She's like sunshine in a human. And yeah, hopefully she gets her head all good with the rest of the thing, and she's like, yep, I want to come back, because it'd be such a shame if she didn't, because she's just such a superstar. Clement versus Clementine.
Yes.
Again, another person who's just her personality is infectious. I've trained with her quite a lot of times. So Spike Trevay does a lot of sessions down at UBW as well, and so I've trained with her then, and she's just so patient, and so her character's just class. I just love it. So much energy. I think it should be wicked. And then Amira as well. I don't know what. I think she's just going by Amira now, rather than. But I think she's gone to Amira. But anyway, again, she was at the UBW show recently. She is such energy. She's so ferocious, and she just gets the crowd so intrigued and invested, which I just absolutely love. So I think she would be really good as well. And there's like a lot of energy. Artemis, who I think is who Adonis mentions.
Hopefully we'll be on soon. She says she's up for an interview.
So I started training with her at the same sort of time. And she's just an absolute badass, like just absolute killer, like crimson kill shot, like just absolute killer. So I think she just adds a bit of a like seriousness to it. And then I don't know if they can actually do this person, because she's technically signed to WWE, but Stevie Turner. Stevie Turner. I'm going to put her in anyway, because I've trained with her as well. So I'm just trying to think like, and again, she's wicked. She's been really helpful with a lot of my development and ideas and stuff like that. She's been really helpful to me. So I really rate her. And then Aluna Blue as well. So she's done a Square One show as well. Absolute babe behind the scenes. Like, I was just chatting to her, and we follow each other on Instagram, and I was like, oh, it's actually nice to meet you in person. And I think my little niece saw her when she was at the show and just was like enthralled. And also she uses Girls Loud as a theme tune, which I think is pretty sick. So just for the entrance theme alone, I'm gonna put her in. So that'd be my 6-pack women's challenge.
Amazing
title. Yeah.
Cool. Then it's your mid-card title match, so your workhorse title.
So this is a very selfish one. If I'm the promoter, I'm booking myself.
Yes.
I don't know if I can do that.
Shortcut.
That's my ego speaking. I didn't put myself in the main event though, to be fair. So yeah, I'd put in. I wanted to do a fatal 4-way, and again, based on people who I just want to wrestle, and I think also the mixture of characters in there would be really good. So it'd be Adonis Payne versus Tommy Kyle versus Paul Hubris versus myself.
Wow.
I think between the four of us, we bring something different in the sense of like energy, athleticism, sort of like viciousness, and like stealth. I don't know. There's just, I think between the four of us, and also like there's just bits of character which we could work really well with. Like, you'd get the absolute technical classic if like Hubris and Tommy were in the match, but then like me and Adonis could come in and just bring that bit of character and a bit that storyline, a bit of comedy, and also like we're just easy people to pin as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd put in the mid card. I'd put myself there. I don't care.
That'd be a fun match.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
Cool. A hardcore Extreme Rules style match, so you can make this as hardcore as you want if you want to do a death match.
So this is me playing God. So there's a guy called Tony Sim down at UBW in Square One who I train with, and again, he is incredible. I love that guy to my absolute core. We just get a lot. We get a lot. Like we've got like a frenemies storyline between in our training class. Like we're always trying to put each other off. Like, and he's always like trying to outdo. We're like trying to outdo each other. But we're actually like pals. But we're like, but I'm gonna do it better than you. He's always gone like, I want to do a deathmatch so much, and I was like, that's the last thing I'd ever want to do in my life ever.
I don't get to do death matches. I was like, why do you want something sharp smashed over your head or
absolutely not thumbtacks?
Something stabbing you?
Nah, you're all right. No, thank you.
So would you want if your opponent went under the ring and brought out a bag? Would you want it to be thumbtacks or Lego?
Oh God, that's horrible. Oh, the thought of getting your feet and stuff like that. To be fair, if we're wearing boots, and maybe it'd be all right. But yeah, neither would be a very fun experience.
It's about 50-50 split when I ask people, because they either said, "Oh, it's pain for a second," or you have these huge bruises after Lego for weeks. So it's just like,
if it's a matter of like pulling out thumbtacks versus bruises, I'd take the bruises every day, because I'd wince at the thought of pulling out. Yeah, I remember seeing Edge and Mick Foley at WrestleMania, and just being like, and through a flaming table and stuff like that. Nope. Not a chance, thank you. Not on my watch. But he really wants a death match, so I'm going to put him in a death match. Against Spike Trevay, because
yes.
I mean, it's two heels and two, like, their characters just both their characters are just absolute arseholes. So it'd just be a kind of like a who could damage each other more sort of situation. I don't think you need a face heel dynamic in that situation. So I think that would be I think they'd both push each other to the limit on that one. So that'd be my hardcore.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that. Your tag team title match?
Yeah. So tag team, it would be West Side Heat, which I know that the Smashing Mike's conversation I think is going out tomorrow when we're recording, or it's already out. So go and listen to that.
It would have been out a week.
Yeah, if you've not listened, go back and listen to it, because I imagine it will be a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy, a lot of fun. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with his energy.
And he makes no damn excuses, whereas I'm like, I make a lot of excuses. I make any excuse I want. He's fantastic. And they had a match against Hubris and Calvé at the last show at UBW, and JT as well is an absolute joke. I saw him when he won the titles at the UBW show of the Heavyweight Heartbreakers. He did a standing shooting star press to break up a pin. And I was like, and if you've seen this guy, he's like 5'8", 5'9", maybe, I don't know how tall he is, but he is a fucking unit. Sorry about my language. He's a unit. And he just does his flip, and I was like, what on earth is going on here? Like, you just defy gravity. I'm like, to break up a pin, I'm like, most people just do a little elbow, but why are you doing this shooting star press? But he's an absolute joke. And the fire that they bring and the energy that they bring to a match is just crazy. And I think they're, rightfully tag champs in two promotions at the moment. So it's so rightful and so deserving, because they are absolute quality, and they've just got such a good dynamic as a tag team.
I can't believe they've only been together 8 or 9 months as well. It's just a
joke.
So
the sky's the limit for them guys. I think they're gonna do really well. Like, Mike's energy and power, and JT's athleticism, like, as a duo, is just gonna be insane. So yeah, and then I'd put them against Thunder Express, which is Jackson Hart and Leo Edwards.
Yes.
So the Leo Edwards is in a no DQ match at Square One. By the time this is released tomorrow, on July the 9th. Yeah, July the 9th, which is just going to be absolute killer. I know Leo's been doing quite a lot of single stuff recently. Jackson Hart, I've trained with quite a bit, and same with Leo, and a tag team. They're so dynamic. Both just fantastic guys. And the thing which I love about a tag team match with them two versus each other is there'd be so much flipping about and jumping about, and your eyes would just be like, what is going on here? And I just like, especially Thunder Express, I just love them two so much. I think they're both quality guys, so talented. Both are going to go so far. Like, Leo Edwards is such a pure meat baby face. Like, he's he's such a baby face. Like, he's such a good baby face. And the thing which I think with Jackson Hart, he can do the babyface stuff so well, but he's done some heel stuff at Apex and stuff like that, and he's just got a swagger about him. He's got like this insane look about him. Super talented, super nice, super humble. And again, one of the guys that me and him have been chatting till whatever time in the morning, be like, what about this idea? What about this idea? He's just a real one, and I'm a big fan of him. So yeah, I think that'd be a class tag team match.
That'd be a great palate cleanser after a death match as well. That's a nice flippy.
Got from table and stuff to being like, it's like the level to this, bro. With like stuff like that. Oh, beautiful.
Cool. Then it's your main event. So.
Main event, I put in again my ego. It's like which of my adversaries is better. So I've done Crowley versus Truman Roswell as my main event. Again, for the character part of it, it was what I'm sold on. Like, I love both of their characters, and I think I can't even begin to imagine how they'd interact, which I think is the best thing about it. Like, they could go down so many different routes, like with energy, comedy, like actual technical wrestling, and so I just think them two in a match is going to be an absolute killer one day, or like at least in their current iterations of their character. I think that is a money match.
I'd love to watch that.
Yeah, and I think if I was booking it, I would put Truman over, only because I think it would be more entertaining to see Crowley react on losing. I think.
Yeah, I loved his reaction to losing when he lost to Spike Valentine the title. Yeah.
I think that'd be a class main event. And again, the way that I booked it was that there's enough energy and storyline throughout. I don't think anything would be too incredibly serious. I don't think, which I like about it. It's just light-hearted fun.
I think that's a great card. I'd love to watch that.
So yeah, and again, it's all the people that I've worked with, which is very small, or trained with. So it's a very small circle at the moment. But yeah, I just think that'd be class.
Yeah, that'd be an amazing show. I'd love to watch that. Yeah. Get Paul Ash on it now. Let's just
Yeah, I guess I'll get a word in with Paul.
Yeah.
Get me on the mid-card title. And Harrison Leon's going over, winning his first title.
Oh, so before we go, do you want to promote any social media you have, or merch stores, or?
It's at Harrison Leon UK. I am on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I know. I cringe out at it for doing it, but you know what? I kind of enjoy it now, which is quite embarrassing. Yeah, if you want to follow
I've not downloaded it yet, because I said that about Instagram. I'm never downloading it because I'll get addicted to it. I got addicted to it, so it was like no.
TikTok downloading was one of the worst and best decisions. So I have my own podcast on which I talk about music and stuff like that. Like I used to have, at least, and I used to cuss out and insult TikTok all the time. Yeah. So in perfect fashion for the hypocrite that I am, I have now got TikTok and I'm now making TikToks for Harrison. So yeah, it's the best and worst decision I made because it's so addictive, but I find so much interesting stuff on it. So yeah, that's where I'm at on social media. So yeah, keep there for any sort of information on any matches and stuff like that. And just to get a bit more into the Baller fan club.
Yes. Yeah, I'll put links in the description, along with the link to the Crowley match as well, because I think everyone should go watch that. It was a lot of fun. So I watched it again today. So.
Glad you enjoyed.
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed speaking to that. I'd love to have you on again in the future. I'll catch up in a year or two.
But, well, I've got a few more matches under my belt. Once I've got the Square One title, that is one thing I'm going to put into. I want to win the Square One title. By the time we next chat,
yes,
hopefully, I'll come back as the champ. Yeah, I just put things into the universe. But I'd love to come back as well because I've really enjoyed it as well. Sorry for just biting your ear off for an hour.
I loved it. That's great.